The three main states of matter: solid, liquid, and gas. What is matter? Matter is everything around you. Everything is made out of matter. Matter is how an object looks like, feels like, sounds like, smells like, and tastes like. Usually matter is in solid, liquid, and gas form. Matter is usually in these three forms: solid, liquid, and gas. There's also one more form called as plasma. But plasma doesn't exist on Earth unless you make it. When you heat up, the phase changes like it starts from a solid and then it becomes a liquid. That is called melting. When liquid becomes a gas, it is called vaporization. When gas becomes a solid, it is called depositation. And when it's the other way around, like when solid becomes a gas, it is called sublimation. When gas becomes a liquid, it's called condensation. When liquid becomes a solid, it's called freezing. Plasma, and it only happens after gas. When gas becomes a plasma, it's called ionization. When plasma becomes a gas, it's called recombination. Phase change occurs when the heat is given or taken away. If you see a solid under a really powerful magnifying glass, you will see the distance between the particles. The distance is called the intermolecular structure, or the intermolecular distance. As you can see here in the picture, the intermolecular structure is the minimum, and the particles are really tightly packed. That's why a solid holds its shape. If you see a liquid under a magnifying glass, you will see the intermolecular structure is more than the solid, as the particles are a little separated and they can move. That's why a liquid takes the shape of the container it's put in. If you see gas under a really powerful magnifying glass, you will see the intermolecular distance is the maximum and the particles are really separated. That's why gas takes as much space as possible. Boiling point. Boiling point of a liquid is when the temperature at which it changes state from liquid to gas. Freezing point. Freezing point of a liquid is when the temperature at which it changes state from a liquid to solid. Melting point. Melting point of a solid is when the temperature at which it changes state from a solid to liquid. The story of an ice cube. One day at night, I was taken out of the refrigerator. First, I was a solid. All the particles were tightly packed and they squeezed me. But then a girl came and forgot me outside and went away. After some time, I started melting. I started losing my shape. Oh no, what's happening to me? I screamed to myself. Help, help! I called aloud, but no one was there. But then the girl came back again, and I started to think to myself, what is she going to do to me now? Oh, I was so worried. Then I got more worried when she picked me up. Then she poured me into a pan. No! I screamed. This must be a nightmare. Oh, I started to become a gas, and my particles started to separate. I didn't feel so good. Then I started to boil. Then the girl, put some powder in me, and then, thankfully, she put the lid back on. Oh, what a relief! I started to cool down, and I was again turned into a liquid. She put me into a fridge for overnight, and I started to cool down. At last, I finally became a solid again, but the powder she put in me turned me into a jello. And finally, I was eaten by two cute little children. And that was the end for the ice cube, and surely it went through a lot of phases.